Let us begin reading Routine. It's as part of the series Youngest A Journey Around the World, and the book is pitched at Lexile 640. Let us proceed with reading Routine. Youngest A Journey Around the World, Routine. Lucia was 2 months into her journey. She was starting to miss her family and her friends. She wanted to tell them all about her adventures, but she was also starting to settle in on the sea. She was very comfortable out on the water now. At first, it was hard living on a boat. There wasn't a lot of space. She couldn't bring the majority of the things that made her comfortable back home in California. She missed her comfortable bed, her favorite books, and eating breakfast with her mom and dad each morning. But after 2 months at sea, Lucia realized she didn't need those things. She had come up with a whole new routine for herself out on the steam, ocean, earth, brave. I believe she was out on the ocean. Let's give it a try. Yes. Out at sea, Lucia woke up at 5:30 each morning. She liked to sit on the dash of the boat and watch the sunrise at the lion size deck hero, most probably the deck. It looked so beautiful. There were oranges and reds everywhere. The water always looked amazing with the morning light. Watching the sunrise was her favorite part of the day. I'm so dashed to get to see this. I am so comic, tasty, extra lucky. I believe she was lucky enough to see that. Yes. Lucia told herself each morning. Next, she would have some breakfast. She always had cereal on the boat because it was her favorite thing to eat. Unfortunately, she couldn't have any milk. It would spoil sitting in the boat all day. So she would just eat the cereal without milk. It was still delicious. After breakfast, Lucia would go look at her maps. She had tons of maps in a drawer on the boat. She had one big map of the world and the many smaller maps for each tablet, palette, region, cabman. Most probably it is the region. Yes. She had maps that told her what the sea was like. Lucia would spread her maps out on the salt called post desk most probably. So she could look over them. She would pick her route and decide on a plan for the day. Lucia also had a computer on her boat. The computer helped her plan her routes. However, Lucia really liked looking at the paper maps. After planning her ideal route, Lucia also came up with a backup plan. Her dad had taught her how important having a backup plan was. The only thing that's for sure is that things will go wrong. That's why it's always great to have a backup plan, he always told her. Once Lucia had a plan for the day, she could set her sails that would put her on course to get where she wanted to go. While she could relax for a little bit, she always had to monitor the sails and the course of the boat. Going off course could add a lot of time to her journey. Lucia had brought an entire backpack full of books. She loved to read, and the sunny mornings on the boat were perfect for reading. With any free time, Lucia tried to read at least one chapter. Lucia often took a nap during the day. However, she also had to pay attention to where the boat was going. Because of this, her naps were never very long. Lucia knew that if the weather or wind changed, the boat could easily go off course. She had to make sure everything was going to plan. If the wind changed, it was her job to change the dash to match it. Change the sails, poles, spines, hooks. Change the sails. Being on a sailboat solo is a dash of work. It's a lot, hop, row, lot. It's a lot of work. Let us proceed. The other thing Lucia loved to do was go fishing. She had brought her fishing dash with her. Fishing, land, dive, pole, pile. Fishing pole. Yes, we are right. When the boat was all set, she would cast her line into the water. She had caught all kinds of fish during her trip. Every region she had sailed through her had different kinds of fish. If she caught one, she could even make it for dinner. She would cut the fish and cook the meat on a small hot plate that she had. There was nothing better than fresh fish. A little salt and pepper, all she needed. She loved fish. After dinner, Lucia liked to do some exercise. She didn't have any dash or anything. She didn't have any cousins, rattles, ladders, weights. Most probably weights. Let us give it a try. Yes, we are right. But she couldn't. But she could still do jumping jacks and sit-ups and push-ups. It helped her feel healthy and gave her more energy. It was a bit. It was a big part of her day. The last thing Lucia would do was plan for the following day. She would look at how far she had sailed during the day and make sure she was still on track. Then she would dash, decide, become, appear, depend. Then she would dash where to go. She would decide. Yes, it was dash to always have a plan. It was dash, it was startling, welcoming, wonderful, important. It was important. Yes, to always have a plan. Lucia stayed very, very organized. She always knew where she was and where she was going. At the end of a long day, Lucia would climb into her head. It was a dash mattress with a sleeping bag. It was a shaky, small, fresh, phony. It can't be phony, it can't be fresh, it's small or shaky. Maybe a small mattress. Let us give it a try. Yes. But after being on the deck all day, being in her bed felt amazing. Sometimes Lucia would grab a flashlight and read more. Other times she was just too tired. She would climb under her sleeping bag and fall asleep. The next day she would wake up and do it all over again. Lucia had been doing this for 2 months now. She still had a long way to go in her journey. She decided to make the most of every moment. Her adventure had just dash, and so far things were going perfectly. Just built, piled, begun, read. Just begun. Yes. And things were going perfectly. That's the end of the story.